There's always one part of my journey I don't advise other people to follow, and that's my lack of financial planning. A lot of this has to do with not really planning my reinvention in advance or considering that this was an important aspect. But now I know it's one of the most important elements to plan because it's usually one of the main reasons that hold people back. When I went through my own journey, I had absolutely zero money saved. If anything, I had debt. Now, it's not impossible to start from there, but personally, I wouldn't recommend it. So if I would go back in time, this is what I would have done instead. First, I would have figured out what my expenses were. I'm talking about your rent, your household bills, your health, your clothes, any loans or debts you might have. If you run a business, you obviously want to factor in your business costs as well. You then need to figure out how you can cut out things that aren't a necessity. This is something I actually did do. Things like ending my Netflix subscription not only saved me money, but also time. Whilst they were small sacrifices, all those small amounts added up in the long run. But don't worry, it's not forever. By the end of this process, you should have a rough idea of what your monthly outgoings are at a minimum. Next, you want to think about how much savings you need in order to get you through your reinvention process. Now, obviously, this is dependent on your earnings, as well as the fact that some people will be working whilst they reinvent and others might choose to leave their jobs. Either way, it's good to have a financial safety net to fall back on, and a ballpark of about 6 months savings is a good place to start. Lastly, prioritize where you spend your money. Whether that's hiring a coach, creating a website, or revamping your wardrobe, it's important that you invest in the must-haves before the slightly more frivolous expenses. A good question to ask is, if I invest in this, will it stop me from getting to where I want to be? Coming back to your goal of reinvention can help talk you out of those impulse buys. The truth is, reinvention can cost as little or as much as you want it to. When I reinvented myself after leaving the corporate world, I spent very little money to start with. Now I'm going through another reinvention and I'm spending a lot more and a lot smarter. Every cycle of reinvention will make you more savvy with your spending. So don't fear the mistakes, but do have a financial plan.